Hello student, I am Professor Anand Poddar from Mechanical Engineering Department, SG Balekundri Institute of Technology, Belgavi. So in this video, you're going to learn about different types of machines used for machining purpose. So first we will learn the term called as machining. The machining is nothing but what here we're going to remove the excess or extra material or unwanted material from the workpiece and we're going to bring it to the desired shape and size. So here as a definition says, it is a metal removal operation from the workpiece with the help of machine tools and cutting tools. So metal is removed in the form of chips from the workpiece. So in machining, we're going to understand the two important parameters. One is a machine tool and the next one is a cutting tools. Machine tools examples comes lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machines and advanced CNC and all. And about the cutting tools we require, it has got a sharp cutting edge and usually the cutting tool should be harder than the workpiece. So when the cutting tool start removing the material from the workpiece, the chips start coming out from the workpiece. So now let us begin with the first or different types of machine tools used. So these are the different types of machine tools used, like example lathe, drilling, grinders, shaper, planer, milling, boring machine, and slotting machines and all. So for you, for the first year syllabus, we're going to concentrate first on the lathe machines. Lathe machine is called as a mother of machine. It is widely used, one of the machine tool in the workshops. So lathe machine, this is a machine tool which turns cylindrical materials. Whenever the cutting tool touches to it, it cuts the material. So as I said it is a mother of all the machine tools. So lathe is one of the oldest of all the machine tools and most basic tool used in the industries. So lathe is defined as a machine tool which is primarily used to produce circular objects, and it is used to remove excess material by forcing the cutting tool against to the rotating workpiece. Now in this diagram, this is one of the line diagram of a lathe machine that you can see it on the screen. In this, the main part will be like headstock will be there, and we have a tailstock, and to that headstock the chuck is arranged, the chuck is mounted, and this chuck is going to rotate, and to hold the workpiece we have the jaws here. The number of jaws will be 3 or 4. That jaws will going to hold your workpieces, and as the spindle rotates, the chuck is going to rotate and the workpiece is going to rotate. So here the rotation motion will be there. And one more, here is a tool post. In this tool post we going to hold the tool, and this tool will be fed against the rotating workpiece, and as it start cutting it and it start inserting into the workpiece, the workpiece removes its material in the form of chips. Again, there are different types of chips are going to come depending on the type of workpiece you're going to have. Next, so this is how it look like. So we will first see the different parts of lathe machine here. So here in this diagram you can see this is a headstock part, and this is a chuck, and these are the jaws. And then next one we have the tool post. The function of the tool post is to hold the cutting tool here, and below that we have a compound rest, and below that we have the carriage here, and on that above that we have a cross slide here. So so this carriage will provide the transfer motion as well as the feed motion. And then we have a tailstock. So tailstock will provide the will have got tailstock can be moved, and it can support the workpiece whenever the length of the job is at higher length. And here you can see the lead screw, and which will help in threading operations. Now we'll go for the basic principle on how the lathe machine is going to work. As I said it, here it is used to produce the cylindrical surfaces, and lathe machine is mainly used for machining the cylindrical jobs. First thing that you need to do is you need to hold the jobs in the chuck, and we need to rotate at a higher speed. So your job will be rotating at a higher speed, and you can give a support from the two centers. One is a headstock and one more is a dead center, that is your tailstock. and you can hold the tool on the compound rest, and with the help of the cutting tools and the sharp cutting tools, you're going to remove the material in the form of in the form of chips, and the chips start coming out from the workpiece as it start removing the material. Next we will see the specification of lathe machine. So specifications, first specification is the height of the centers measured from the lathe bed. So the height at which your lathe bed is there, so that is the first parameter. Second one is a swing diameter over the bed. The next one is swing diameter over the carriage, and the next one is maximum the diameter of the workpieces, and the last one is a length of bed. So this is what you can see it, the specification of the lathe. The first one is L1 is nothing but the distance between the two centers. Next one is the L2 is, this is called as a length of the bed. Next you can see the H, this is the height from the length bed to the live center. This is how we can specify the lathe machine. Next there are different types of lathe machines. I'll skip it. So we will move for the basic operations which we can perform on the lathe machines. The basic operations comes as turning operation. In the turning we can do plane turning and step turning, facing operation, taper turning, drilling operation, boring operation, reaming, knurling, forming, champering, parting operation, and the last one is we can perform the threading operations. So now let us discuss one by one these operations. Now as you can see in this diagram is the turning operations is performed to reduce the diameter of the workpiece. So whenever you're doing the turning operation, see first you can see the facing operation here. So facing is the operation we can perform to reduce the length of the workpiece, and the turning operation here you can reduce the diameter of the workpiece, and the step turning operation is you can have different diameters at a different sections. So in all three operations the common thing is we have a chuck here, and to that chuck we have a jaws here. The jaws is going to hold the workpiece, and your as headstock is a main part here, and as drives comes your chuck is going to rotate, and then thereby the transmission is going to happen to the workpiece, and your workpiece start rotating at a higher speed. Next thing is that on the compound rest or the tool post you're going to hold the tool, and the tool is going to fed against the rotating workpiece, and in the facing operations you have the tool movement perpendicular to the direction of the work. So this is the axis of the work and this is the tool movement, and both are transfer in directions. So you can make here 90-degree or less than that. So here the transfer motion takes place in the facing operation, and in the turning operations, see here both movement we can see it here. Here also same thing, you need to hold your workpiece in the chuck. Next you need to rotate the workpiece at a higher speed, and with the help of the sharp cutting tool the tool is fed against the rotating workpiece. As the tool is fed you need to give a depth of cut. Depth of cut is nothing but what, how much or how much centimeter or how much distance it has moved inside the workpiece. And after that you need to give the movement from this side, that is we called as feed. So feed and depth will come into picture here. So feed and depth of the tool will make the chips to come out from the workpiece, and this is called as a plane turning operation. And the last one is we have a step turning. It is very similar to the turning only, but here we can have different diameters at a different length. Here is a different diameter at for this length, and here we have a different diameter for this different length. Like this way you can do the step turning operation. So this is about the turning operation. We'll move ahead with the plane turning operations. As I said it, see here you can see the clear idea about it. First you need to take a workpiece. First you hold this workpiece in between two centers. This center is called as a live center and this is called as a dead center, and rotate it with a higher speed. Next thing is that you need to take a cutting tool here. So see that the cutting tool hardness should be more than the workpiece hardness. It should have a good strength when I compare with the workpiece. So then only the machining will occur. So if the tool is weaker compared to the workpiece, your tool is going to break. So see that your tool should be at a higher strength or it should be harder than the workpiece. And in the plane turning operation, so first you need to rotate at a higher speed this workpiece. and you feed the tool against to it. So you can see the direction of the tool here. So this is called as a feed, and the distance it is traveled inside the workpiece is called as a depth of cut. So as it start touching the workpiece, so slowly the material will lose its material in the form of chips, and the chips are going to slide over the cutting tool. The type of chips that is going to come from the workpiece depends on the type of workpiece and many other parameters. Next, this is step turning. Here in the step turning, the similar working, but only you can see here different diameters at a different length. So this is called as a step turning. So in step turning, you have a steps here. Like this is a different diameter, and this is a diameter, and this is a diameter. So the working principle remains same, only the diameters are going to change. Next, in the facing operation, what you can find it here, the tool movement, and tool will be fed in this direction, that is perpendicular to the axis of the workpiece. And same here, the workpiece is held in the chuck and it is made to rotate at a higher speed, and you have a facing tool here, and this facing tool is fed against the rotating workpiece, and this is the direction of the cutting tool. See here you can see the turning operation practically here. See here you can see this is a cutting tool and this is a workpiece, and this workpiece is rotated at a higher speed and your workpiece is fed against to it. And once the cutting tool touches the workpiece, you need to give a depth of cut as well as a feed. So when you give a feed and depth of cut, the materials start coming out from the workpiece in the form of chips. Next, we will see the most important for your syllabus is the taper turning, and we have a three methods for this, and for your syllabus we have a two methods here. In step turning, in the taper turning, the first method that we're going to use it here is compound rest swiveling method. See here you can see in the diagram, you can see here taper. Taper is nothing but what, here the diameter is different and here the diameter is different. Fine, and in order to produce this, as the first thing is that you need to hold this workpiece into the chuck, and in the compound rest swiveling method, we're going to calculate what is called as a taper angle. And in order to calculate the taper angle, we have a formula like tan alpha is equal to capital D minus small d divided by 2L. Now what is this capital D is this diameter. So one diameter, one side of the diameter is D and other end is small d. So you need to take a difference of it divided by 2L. So L is a taper length. So when we calculate, we will get the value of alpha here. So that is nothing but alpha means the taper angle. So that taper angle, for example, if you get by calculation as a 10 degree, so that 10 degree you need to set it on the compound rest. So on the compound rest, you find the angles there. So you need to swivel it and you need to loose the nuts and you need to set according to the calculated taper angle. Once you set your compound rest with a particular angle, your tool is going to move in the particular, you're going to fix your angle there. So your tool is going to reciprocate, or the tool is going to have a motion along the fixed angle here. So the only important thing is the calculation about the taper angle, and the next important here is you need to fix your compound rest to the calculated angle, and you need to give a feed and depth of cut as usual. So here the tool movement will be not in the straight line, or it is not parallel to the axis of the workpiece, it is according to the calculated taper angle. So this is about the compound rest swiveling method. And one more method that we can use it for producing taper is, it is by taper turning by set over method. Now in the last method, that what we are saying is, here the compound rest means your tool is at only at a fixed taper angle, but in this method what you can see is the workpiece is only set at a particular taper angle. So you need to calculate the taper angle, same thing here also, and we need to set the workpiece in that inclined position. Like you can see it here, this is a live center and this is a dead center, and you need to fix the workpiece in that fashion according to the requirement of your taper. So as it start rotating, your workpiece is at a inclined position, it is in an inclined position or in a taper position. And one more thing that you need to notice here is your cutting tool is straight only. The cutting tool is not going to move in a inclined position, the cutting tool is as usual direction. But here the difference is what, the workpiece is only at a inclined position. See, you can see here, so this is actually it should happen, but here this is fixed end, this is along the axis here, this is along the axis of the workpiece. But what you can see here, the difference here is your dead center or live center is not it is not according to the axis here, it is not straight now, it is made to set over here. This is at some distance, you can see the differences here. This axis and this axis have making some difference here, some distance, and this is nothing but what you can calculate by using help of the formulas here. So this is the second method by producing a taper turning by set over method. Next, we have one more method, like this is taper turning by swiveling the compound rest. Here also same thing. First you need to calculate the taper angle. First you need to calculate the taper angle by the formula I've said it in the first method. And the next one is, so this is your compound rest on which you're going to set your tool. And first thing is that once you calculate the taper angle, you fix it that tool in that direction, in that angle. And as it start moving, as the workpiece start revolving, you need to feed the cutting tool now. So as the cutting tool feed, what happens is the material start coming out from this. So here important that you need to see it is that workpiece is straight only, the live center and dead center are along the axis, but here the difference here is your tool is not along the axis of, or it is not parallel to the axis of the workpiece, it is made in an inclined position. Okay, this is about the taper turning by swiveling the compound rest. Next, these are the simple tools that we're going to use it, that I'll skip it here. And this is one more lathe operation, and this operation is called as a knurling operation. And in order to form this knurling operation, we need a special tool called as a knurling tool here. So I think you can see it, those who go for gym, the equipments usually have the ends with the knurling operations. So knurling is provided so that the job should not skip from our hand, so it provides the irritate or surfaces on the workpiece. So here the working principle is again same. You need to take a workpiece and you need to hold this workpiece in the chuck, and you need to rotate at a higher speed, and with the help of knurling tool you need to give a depth of cut and feed. So the pattern which is present on the knurling, the pattern or which are pattern present on the knurling tool, that will be impressed on the workpiece. As you want to press it on the workpiece, you need to put a pressure on that, so that the pattern present on the knurling tool will be transferred to the workpiece. So this is about a knurling operation. See here, you can see this operation again. Yeah, this is what you can see, this is called as a knurling tool, and this is what you can see the knurling operation that is performed here. And this is again different types of knurling tools that we can use it here. Next we will move for drilling and boring operations. Next, drilling means what? The simple definition of drilling is to make a hole onto the workpiece, and for this we are making a special tool called as a drill or drill bit. So here also same thing, you need to fix the workpiece here in the chuck, and you need to rotate at a higher speed, and from the dead center you have to fix the tool called as a drill, and you need to give a depth of cut for this. So as the drill bit enters into the workpiece will remove its material, and along this the drill bit or the along the flank angle, the chips start coming from this. So this is the drilling operation. And the difference between drilling and boring here is, so drilling will do the initial cases, and if you want to increase the size of the hole, you can go for what? The boring operation. And for that we need one tool called as a boring tool. So boring is the enlargement of already drilled hole. Okay, this is about the boring operation. See here, you can see it here. So in a sketch you can see, first thing is that you have to fix your workpiece in the chuck, and you need to make it to rotate at a usually in a slower speed. Next thing, you require a drill, and that drill will be fixed onto the tail stalk of a lathe machine, and this is how we need to give a feed for it. So as it you start giving a feed here, so slowly the material will start removing out from the drill bit. So this is a simple drilling operation done on the lathe machine. And boring also same thing, you only the change here is instead of drill tool, here you're going to use it of boring tool. So boring operation is nothing but what? Already drill hole, you are increasing the diameter of it. Here you can see the operation here. So this is a workpiece which is held in the the jaws of a lathe machine, and in the tailstock you're going to fix the drill bit. So this is a drill tool here, you can see it here, and you need to give a feed for it. So when we give a feed, it slowly the material will remove. So drilling operations is done to make a hole on the workpieces. And you can see the boring operation. So this is called as a boring tool. So a boring tool will help you to enlarge the pre already drilled hole. And next one is a reaming operation. Reaming is done to make a finishing operation on the already drill hole. See, after drilling operation, the inside of the hole usually come up with what rough surfaces. So in order to make it smooth, we are making use of reamer there. So reamer will remove very less material. When you remove less material, of course, the surface finish will be more greater extent. So in order to make it the surface finish to a greater extent, so we are making use of what is called as a reamer. So reamer will remove the less material and it will make a finishing versus easily. Here you can see the reaming tool here. So with the help of reamer, so you are going to make a hole here. So these are the different types of reamers used, and these are the different types of reamers available in the market. Next one is a grooving and parting operation. This is also similar operations. So here only thing difference is you are making use of parting tool. You're going to make a machining operation like this case. So like this way you're going to make a grooving operation. And one more thing is that last operation that you can see it on the lathe machine is a champering operation. Champering is nothing but what at the ends. See, for example, this is a workpiece and this is the workpiece end. So usually in order to avoid the sharp edges, usually we prefer to go for champering operation. So in the champering operation, so usually the chamfer is done at a 45-degree. So you need to rotate at a slow speed, and with the help of cutting tool, you want to cut it the workpiece in this fashion. So this is about the champering operation. And the very important operation that we performed on the lathe is threading operation. I think you can see on the nut and bolts, we find the threads are present. And these threads are present with the help of lathe machine. And here you need to make some adjustment. You need to make a set to gear ratios. And the set gear ratios will provide the threads. And this arrangement of the gears is specially done on deciding the pitch here. Pitch is nothing but what, see for example, this is the one thread and this is one more thread. The distance between these two will decide the pitch of this, and this pitch will be decided and it will be calculated, or it is according to the market. So we need to set the gates according to it and we need to perform the operation on it. And here you can see the such operations. So this is external threading, and here you can see the internal threading operations. Next, this is all about what we have studied is about the lathe machines. So in the next video, we will learn the different types of drilling operations, drill machines, milling operations, and shaper operations. So thank you for watching.